All right, what's up, everybody? Today, we're here on another episode of Real Talk, Real Tips, hosted by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation. We're going to be talking all things panfish today. I'm here with my co-host Taylor Tucker and Heather Del Moral, who is a communication and education technician here at the Wildlife Department. I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, who you are, what you do.
I'm Taylor Tucker. I am a fisheries technician out at Blue River.
Hi, I'm Heather Del Moral. I'm a communication and education technician here in OKC.
Awesome. All right, Heather, can you kind of tell us what you do with the department and just any other hobbies or interests you have?
Yeah, so I've been with the department for almost 18 years this year, and I've actually worked
Wow.
in
That is awesome.
3 different divisions before I found my home in communications.
Dang.
And I actually went back to school so that I can move up in the department. So
Okay.
I do a lot with our marketing specialist, Michael Bergen. So if you ever get on your phone like a push notification, chances are I made that. So yeah,
That's
Go,
cool.
Heather.
I work on the Psych Curtis program, and then I'm just your go-to girl if you just need anything.
Canva. You're my go-to for Canva.
Yeah, just anything simple. Heather, do this. I'm
Heather
that
knows.
girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. So how did you get into fishing for panfish?
Actually got into fishing from our free fishing clinics that the department hosts. When I started, I began in licensing, and people would call and ask all sorts of fishing questions and different things. And then when I saw that we had these free clinics, I'm like, I need to learn more about this if I'm going to be answering all these questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, yeah, it taught me everything.
What a valuable resource. I love that one of our own got into fishing from something that we did. Like you can really see from start to finish, and now you're all into it.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
It's real. It works.
So what was your favorite part of fishing that really just got you hooked?
Just being able to have an activity I could do outside with my kids. Just being outside and getting, just getting them outdoors, getting them
Yeah.
something to burn that energy off with.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
As moms, you're always looking for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
How old were they whenever you first got into fishing?
My kiddos were about 5 and 3, and I had a 1-year-old at the time, so sometimes I would leave her with Dad or Nana so I could take my boys fishing and get them out of the house.
That's awesome.
Now she kind of outfishes us all, but
That's how it works.
yeah.
Yeah,
She
that's
said,
all
"Leave
right.
me at home."
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is our kind of Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms. You guys rock. Shout out to my own mom. She rocks. This is kind of our episode to just give praise to, all the women figures in our life that have gotten us and given us a passion for the outdoors.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you kind of tell us your favorite way to go about catching panfish?
I'm pretty basic. I'm actually really busy. I have lots going on, so the more simple I can fish, the easier it is for me. And for my kids when they were little, that's how it was too.
Yeah.
So I'm just pretty basic, a little bobber, a size 6 hook, and a BB weight, and just a worm. I'm a worm girl, so
Yeah.
That's such a perfect, simple go-to setup for
Yeah.
it, and it catches fish. It catches
Yes.
lots of the panfish. So, you've kind of gone into your go-to setup, and how hard is it setting this up? If you were talking to a mom that is just wanting to get her little ones out, how hard was it to learn how to do this?
after just going to maybe 2 or 3 fishing clinics, I felt comfortable doing it on my own.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's simple. I like to tell other women this, if I can do it and get into it, literally anyone can.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just that easy.
So the department, we actually hold those fishing clinics currently every Monday night throughout the summer. It'll probably change year to year, but all you've got to do is go to our website, hit out our outdoor calendar, and find whichever one's closest to you. register, and I mean, it's as simple as that. We provide all the equipment, all the bait, everything like that. All you've got to do is show up, and we will give our expertise and our knowledge. I mean, we just have a passion for sharing that with other people.
Yeah.
You want to share what you love to do with
Right.
others. Like, you want to spread that passion.
For
So,
sure.
especially to little ones. People really love
Yes.
teaching little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiddos are, I don't have any, but I have a little nephew.
When you do,
that,
it's an obsession. You want them to love the things
right.
you love.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're just here to let you know it's a thing.
Right.
Yes.
I was telling y'all earlier, like, I'm at the point in life to where I get more joy and more satisfaction out of someone catching their first fish
Yes.
or their biggest fish more than I do catching them myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a blessing to just see that smile and like a little kid light up
It
when they.
really is. And as a mom,
Mm-hmm.
having taught my son how to fish, and we started off with the panfish and everything else, and he's starting to want to move up. But when he comes to you and he's like, hey, this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
can we fish? Can we please fish? Like, I want to go
Yes.
fishing with you, Mom. And it's a way to connect and bond
Yes.
with them, too. It's
For
just
sure.
brings you a lot of pride.
Yeah. So Heather, kind of, how did you get into? Not how did you get into? My bad. Like, where do you like to fish here, just locally?
I'm a big close to home fishing person, and thankfully where I live, there are several of them. I live in the south of Oklahoma City, so for me it's easy, it's convenient, and one of the places that I went a lot with my kids when they were growing up was next to a baseball park. So my boys played baseball. So
Yeah, I
we would
understand
just
that.
go right next door to the close to home and
Yeah.
fish before or after the games.
What a wonderful program.
That sounds like so
Yes.
much fun.
It is.
The close home fishing program is really awesome. Taylor, as a fisheries tech, you probably know quite a bit about the close to home.
Well, we don't have quite as many. I think a lot of them are up closer to the city, but you
Okay.
can look online and look up any of your close to home waters.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a great program to make that resource available.
Definitely.
Like, you can just a quick online search and you would have a place to take your kids fishing.
Yeah, no
you know?
doubt.
But also, we're mentioning like private owners. We were talking about that
Yeah.
before. And just a quick ask, a lot of times they'll say yes. You
Right.
know,
Especially if
yeah.
you want to involve some kids. And,
absolutely. People have soft spot for kids.
right.
You know, and if you go and you take really good care of the landowner's property and stuff like that, and you're really respectful, then, you know, they
Yeah.
usually don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, for sure. Always leave it better than you found it.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that in all my experience with asking landowners to let me fish, like when I guarantee them that, you know, I'm not going to leave any trash, I'm not going to take advantage of their property, like I'm going to treat it better than I would my own property.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to treat those fish better than I would fish at my property.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that gives landowners a lot of confidence.
Heather, when you are fishing from the bank, do you have any like good spots that you're looking for?
I am pretty basic. So as long as I don't have to walk through weeds where there could be snakes,
You're
I'm
not a
just
snake girly?
going, no,
That's fine.
anything like that. I'm like, So I'm just going to go find like the easiest pathway for me. And if I do have kids with me, my kids are a little older now. So, but when they were little, we, anywhere we could kind of spread out so that they weren't casting and going to maybe hook each other is the
Right.
spot I'm looking for, or off of a dock. Are just really my two go-to places.
Yeah,
Docks
awesome.
are always good for the panfish. They like
Yes.
that structure. So
For sure. A couple things that I look for, like when I'm heading out to a pond, overhanging branches. A lot of times you have bugs and other little critters on those branches that'll fall into the water.
Okay.
And so the fish a lot of times are hanging out under there or on the edge of a shadow line. So I'm like, those fish like to hide in the shadows. And then when a little bait fish or something swims by, they'll kind of shoot out real quick and go back in. And it gives them just like a super easy place to hide if there's not a lot of structure. Or as you mentioned, like the docks. Docks are perfect places to catch panfish. They're always congregating and kind of hanging out right around the like pillars and stuff like that,
Oh, yeah.
the shadows. So docks are like a great place to catch you a mess
Near
of
boat
panfish.
ramps too.
Yeah.
I've always caught a bunch near boat
Oh.
ramps.
For
Okay.
sure. Yeah, they love the gravel-ish.
Yeah.
And so any gravel areas you can find are really good for panfish, especially during spawning season. Heather, can you kind of tell us like any fun or interesting stories that you have from fishing with your kiddos?
Yeah, so when I was in wildlife division, I was a secretary, and we had a secretaries meeting. And one of the fellow secretaries, we were able to go crappie fishing, and she showed me how to put a jig on and use like a white curly tail.
Yeah.
So I took that knowledge and took my sun fishing at a lake. And since we were mostly used to sun fishing, crappie was different for us. And we
Right.
ended up catching a stringer full of crappie for the first time.
That's awesome.
My son was so proud, and the whole time he's like, "We're cooking this for dinner tonight, Mom."
I love that.
Yes. So, yeah, we were always doing sunfish. So, for him to get to catch crappie and enough for us to actually put on a stringer
Right.
was like a big deal for us.
And it's so fun to catch your own dinner. It really
Yes.
is.
Yeah,
There's
it's
something
very
special about
rewarding.
it. Yeah.
For sure.
And it's
It makes you feel like a
good.
survivor. Like
Yes. Going back to our instincts.
yeah.
That's so funny. Taylor, you kind of mentioned going out with your son recently. Do you have any like fun or interesting stories that?
So we have done a lot of fishing. Actually, we were pond hopping the other day, and this last weekend, this little stinker, and it wasn't a sunfish though. He was just catching everything.
Really?
Yes, he couldn't miss every cast. He was catching something.
Love it.
He was doing great, and he's like, "Oh, Mom, do you need me to rig up your bowl?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, you okay? And
So ornery.
yeah, and I hooked into a bass that ended up being 6 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
And I said,
Dang.
"Baby," I said, "will you take my picture with it?" And he said, "No."
He's like, "Mom."
Yeah, it's
It's
all
so
fun. It's all fun and
competitive.
games
It's
until.
so competitive.
That's awesome.
But it's such a good time. Like
Yeah.
it's something that doesn't cost a lot of money if you really just keep it simple. Like we were talking earlier, $20 you
Right.
can have a
Go to
setup,
Walmart.
and look up some places that are available to fish, and
Yeah.
you can have a great day with
For
your
sure.
kids and just make
For
a bunch of memories.
Yes.
That's what
Going
it's
back
about.
to, we were talking about close to home. That's a program that's run by the wildlife department, and we actively stock those ponds with bluegill, like sunfish hybrids, and largemouth bass and channel catfish. And so, like, those ponds are so easy, especially if you want to just go and bobber, like just bobber fish and hang out.
Yeah. I feel like the state's so great about making sure that those resources are available.
For sure.
And I just want to give a huge shout out. That's
Yes.
so
Yeah,
awesome.
shout out fisheries.
Yeah. Yeah. Let people do their work. But it's awesome to
Yeah.
allow people to have that opportunity
Right.
to get into it if they want to.
I think people also overlook like your local neighborhood pond or
Oh, yeah.
I mean, talk to a landowner, like we said. Like, there are all these ponds that you're like, oh, there's no fish in there. I'd put a $20 bill. There's probably some sunfish in there.
There's probably some fish in there.
I mean, it's just a matter of like getting the gumption to go
Just
out.
doing it.
And,
Do you have any tips that you would think would be great for first timers just getting into it?
Yeah, just don't think that you have to have a ton of equipment, and don't get overwhelmed when you go to a tackle shop or to your just local store, because there are so many things in the aisles. Just keep it so basic.
Right.
yeah.
You just don't need a lot of stuff to start out for panfish or,
Yeah, for
at
sure.
all for panfish. But yeah, just do it because you're just going to have so much fun.
Yeah.
Earlier, we were kind of talking about like the different things you can use for panfish and how they're just such aggressive eaters.
They are very aggressive.
Fighty.
Like being from Georgia, something that we used a lot were crickets. So with a cricket, I mean, you can buy them by the hundreds from a bait and tackle shop. And all you have to do is take your size 4, size 6 hook. They have a little like collar around their neck. So if you start at the head and run your hook down their back under that collar and come back up, it keeps them alive while they're in the water. So that movement really attracts all these panfish. And it's just such an
Triggers
awesome.
their predatory response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
We were talking, I had mentioned we'd used June bugs before. Honestly, you
Right.
can put
Just about
just about anything, and they'll go after it. June bugs, worms.
Yeah.
I mean, the hatch, like any
Right.
bugs. And with kids, a lot of times they don't have the patience to want to sit and wait. And you were talking earlier, you can just send them on like a little scavenger hunt, go
Yeah.
find some bugs, and
Find a cricket, find a June bug.
Well, that's
yeah.
like such like the coolest thing about catching sunfish is you can literally just walk the bank and find bait.
yeah,
I mean, flip over a log, turn a rock, and it's like, oh, well, this is, I mean, so you're talking match the hatch. What that means is basically find what the fish are eating in that time of year. So whether you're out and you're seeing a bunch of crickets along the bank, like that's going to be your best bait because
Yep.
that's what they're eating at that moment.
it doesn't look strange to them. They're expecting
Right.
it.
Right.
I've never thought about that. So I'm glad that y'all said that. I'm going to try that.
For sure. Another thing we kind of talked about earlier were jigs. Jigs are so easy. Like if you don't want to mess with bugs and stuff like that,
They are.
all you've got to do, like depending on your watercolor, so like the pond that I fish for sunfish a lot, it's pretty clear. So I take like a silverish clear jig body with just a chartreuse jig head, and I can go out and absolutely slam the green sunfish. I mean, they're just so aggressive. Like it's almost every
and
cast.
If you are like curious over like the different like colors and stuff and how they incorporate with the waters, we had talked about that in
Yeah.
our bass podcast. So it'd be real easy just to click back onto that, and we kind of
Yeah,
break
for
down
sure.
the colors and when they work.
Definitely. Our website is also a great resource. Wildlifedepartment.com. All you've got to do is go to that website, click on the fishing tab, and if you go down, there's a link that just says fishing tips. And Heather, you mentioned that was where you kind of started along with the clinics, was just looking at the website resources and
Yeah. And YouTube.
yeah.
Like
YouTube's
you got to
great.
go to YouTube if you need to learn how to do anything. And that's what I did.
I should have my doctorates in YouTube by now.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
Literally. That's so funny. It's, oh man, I just love like taking my mom fishing. Like, I know we're kind of talking Mother's Day and,
Yeah.
you know, those special ladies in your life, but it doesn't have to be the moms taking the kids fishing. Like kids, dads, take your wife, take your mom fishing.
Yes.
I
This is
mean,
good advice. Yeah.
like, it's just so fun to
Get
go
the
out.
girls out there.
Right.
Exactly.
We like it.
We do.
And
See, I mean, that's really what we're doing. We're setting them up so that when we're older, we have someone that'll take us out there.
We'll have a
there you
Jacob.
go. There you go.
Yes.
We're securing
We're
our
raising
fishing
Jacobs.
future.
No, I love taking my mom fishing. Like
Aw.
there's
so
this
sweet.
one time, I mean, she didn't really grow up doing it, and so I got real big into it, and I've been lucky enough to take her out, and she hooked into this pretty good bass. And so she's fighting it, like kind of freaking out, you know, and gets to the bank. Well, as she's like starting to kind of like pull it up onto the bank,
No.
it spits the hook.
Oh no.
And so I, just being me, I don't know what made me think to do this. I threw my pole onto the bank and jumped in the water, and I grabbed this fish and was like, "Here you go." It's like present.
What a good story.
That was
Did you
How
take her
happy.
photo?
yeah. I've got the
Checking.
photo somewhere.
I know that's mine's than mine.
Right.
Mine's like, no, wait until I catch something that size, and then we can.
Those ornery little kids, but that's so fun.
Awesome.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying it is like, listen to all of us. Like we're just saying we've got all these stories, and these are just like pond fishing and just getting out there. It's
Right.
very
It's
simple,
so
not
simple.
complicated fishing, and we
Right.
all three of us have great stories
Yeah,
with
for
our
sure.
loved ones. And
I think it's good to note that while it is simple, it's not always easy.
no, that's fine.
Like
It's fishing.
I went out the other day and, you know, I checked a certain app I use and the fishing conditions were really good. And so, okay, I'm going to go fish for a little bit. Well, I pulled in just fish after fish and go right out yesterday, and conditions were close to the same, but not exact. And I didn't pull in a single thing. And it was like, well, that's, you know, you said it earlier, why they call it fishing, not catching.
Yeah.
And
But that's another great thing about that. And if we are kind of like towards like a Mother's Day, like taking your kids fishing teaches them such patience. Like you were talking about, like today, there's a lot of instant gratification. And I think it's good for people to learn to sit and wait and relax. And, you know, fishing is a reset. It's relaxing. It's supposed to be relaxing and calming. But you're not going to have those fish just biting like crazy every single time you go.
Right. I mean, like Heather mentioned that story with her and her son. I mean, they'd gone out days prior and, you know, okay, we caught a couple fish, and then it just takes like one time of
one good day
catching a stringer full that just gets you hooked. I think it's just so cool. Earlier, we talked about going out and just enjoying like the sunshine and slowing life down. Listen to the birds, listen to the wind go across the water. Life moves so fast nowadays. Like we are constantly just going and going and going, it seems like. And fishing is just a great way to slow it down.
It really, it is. It's like one of the best ways. It's such a good reset.
Right.
You know, turn your phone off for a little bit and just be out there. You know, fish ain't biting.
Right.
Pull out Merlin and Seek and start seeing what's all around you. Like,
or pick some wildflowers, you know.
Yeah.
Just enjoy. You're just out there. And you're, you know, if you're with your kids, that's just like double. It just makes it better.
It really is.
Or with your nieces and nephews or
Right.
whoever it
Anyone
may
you
be.
love, yeah.
Heather, earlier you talked about kind of some of the positives fishing has brought you. Can you kind of go through that a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like through fishing, my confidence kind of grew because it taught me a new skill that I was able to pass on to my kids. And just learning something new, it's just you know, it's good for your brain. It's good for your confidence.
Makes you proud.
So, yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I kind of think your kids, like, or just your friends and family are kind of proud when they see you fishing and doing all these things. Like, they're like, oh, I think I might want to do that too.
I agree. It's contagious.
Yes.
It's very
It is.
contagious.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun just to go and just hang out. Like
Yes.
I've started finding joy in just like slowing life down and just hanging out.
Yeah.
And like fishing is kind of my way to do that, you know. After a long day of work, it's like I just want to relax.
Yes.
And going out and just hanging out on the bank of a pond or a little creek.
It's a great way to end the day.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talked about like in fishing today, catching big fish is such like a popular thing nowadays. It is. But like you don't have to catch big fish to have a good time. And sunfish are a great way to do that. Like I love downsizing my tackle. So going to like a really ultralight rod with light line, small tackle. And you can catch fish just about anywhere with it. And you're getting the same feeling of fighting a big fish when in all
They still
reality,
bend the rod.
it's like just a little
exactly.
bitty 6-inch like sunfish or something like that.
But you still get that excitement from it.
Right.
And that same getting to go out there, like you were saying, just being outdoors in the sunshine. And so, you know, it's good to try if that's, or if you were talking earlier, some days you just aren't having the luck on bass.
Right.
And sometimes you just size down.
You just need a little sunfish to get
Confidence
your confidence
booster.
back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's,
Those other fish are hurting your feelings.
right. Right. You mentioned earlier, like your son likes to go and find, like, it's almost a challenge for him to go be like, okay, I want to know if I can catch a fish in this little creek or something like that. Like, I think that's so cool.
We do a lot of hopping around, and anywhere we go, you could walk out to my car right now. I've got 3 poles I didn't put in there. And everywhere we go, if there's water, he's going to go check to see if he can catch any fish in there.
That's awesome.
And there's so much diversity in our panfish families and stuff that he has a lot of fun, which maybe it's just something for him, but he likes to identify all the different species and kind of creates like this checklist of the different species he's caught because they're beautiful. If you really take the time to stop and look at these panfish, they're gorgeous. Like a long-eared sunfish,
So
it's a
pretty.
showstopper. Like, you know, but you don't think about it because they're the little ones.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fun that can be had if you really stop and appreciate it.
Yeah,
I love
for sure.
to catch. I love it when I catch an orange one or a pumpkin one. Every time I do, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. It's just so beautiful. The color.
It
It's like,
is.
I love this.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
While we're talking about species, can I ask you a question while I have the biologist here? When I say I'm fishing and I've like showed people pictures and stuff, they're like, oh, you're catching perch. And I honestly don't know what perch is.
So perch are a thing, but our sunfish family is not a perch.
Okay.
So the Percidae family is the perches, and you've got like your yellow perch and those, but we have like the log perch, and that's in it. But the sun family is a completely different family in itself. They're
Right.
centrarchidates, like so completely different. I don't know where the name came from, but yeah, it's just slang.
Okay.
You're using a lot of words that I don't know.
Yes, I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's just scientific names. But I don't know where the perch family. He was saying that
You find a lot of them up north,
yes,
like
yes.
up in your northern states. They have a lot of
the perch, actual perch.
Here we have the sunfish family, and we do have a couple perch.
Yeah, we do have a couple, but not. It's not what you're thinking when you
Right.
think of sunfish. It doesn't look like the
Okay.
perch family.
I always feel kind of dumb when people say that, and I'm thinking perch.
You're the smart one.
But it's okay to be curious. Like
is.
there's nothing.
And there's a lot of slang names for different fish. You were saying
Right.
brim earlier.
Brim, yeah, we call like big bluegill, or we even called them shell crackers back in Georgia.
Kind of fun.
Like I don't know where the slang comes from, but we want to go catch big bluegill or shell crackers, and it just, I mean, it never hurts to ask.
It doesn't. And it's kind of cool to hear what everyone calls
Right.
everything. It's
Like the fishing community is so just open about like giving advice, and I mean, they might not tell you exactly where their like honey hole is, but
exactly.
Yeah.
they'll be like, hey, maybe try this lure, or here's some advice about catching bass or brim or
It is a
whatever
cool,
they are.
a cool culture because we all love it, so we want to share it.
Right.
We don't
that's
want
what's
to keep
great.
it all inside. We want everyone to know about it because we all love it.
Yeah,
No, I love
for
that
sure.
there's no gatekeeping. Like you said, maybe not their spot, but
Right.
if you walk into a tackle shop or talk to any of the ODWC employees or any like big fishermen, they're gonna try to help. I don't think I've ever met anyone that's like, no, get away from me. Like
Yes.
Right.
it's a great community to be a part
Yeah.
of.
For sure. Well, that is going to bring us kind of to the end of today's episode. Shout out to all the moms out there. Shout out to all the
Yes.
ladies teaching the next
fishing.
generation. We appreciate you. If you're not told that every day, you rock. We love you.
Yeah.
We're thankful for getting us outdoors and teaching us something new. This episode was by the Department of Wildlife Conservation, and we will see y'all next time.